Cadillac will be the new name on the grid next season, but two familiar faces will be leading the charge for the American outfit after they announced that Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas will be piloting the team's cars in their maiden Formula One campaign. But with a host of top drivers linked with the two seats, what tipped the balance for the Mexican and the Finn to get the nod from team boss Graham Loudon? Well, for starters, Sergio Perez is one of the most experienced drivers on the market, having raced in more than 280 Grand Prix. He began his F1 career with Sauber, where he first proved he had a talent for snatching surprise podiums, sealing 3 top 3 finishes for the Swiss squad. This was a knack he further honed at the team that became his long-term home, Force India. It seemed like a match made in F1 heaven, a team always trying to punch above their weight against better funded rivals, and a driver who revelled in the challenge of squeezing out results and pouncing for podiums whenever there was even a hint of a chance. Tyre Whisperer soon made a name for himself as a midfield points regular who used his knack of caressing and caring for his tyres to often beat rivals who had, on paper at least, faster cars. Cadillac know they're unlikely to be mixing it with the frontrunners when they first join the grid, but in Perez, they're getting a driver who has a vast well of experience of racing for midfield teams. And that kind of skill could be crucial for Cadillac as they look to establish themselves in their first campaign, when point-scoring opportunities will need to be seized and maximised. But in hiring Perez, Caddy aren't just getting a solid midfield runner with an eye for points and the odd podium, they're getting a winner. The Mexican took his maiden victory in truly spectacular style, racing from dead last to seal a famous and unexpected triumph for Racing Point under the lights at the Sakir Grand Prix in 2020.
This is a magical moment in the incredible career of Sergio Perez, who has been on the podium 9 times before, but never on the top step. He is about to correct that. This is really happening. You are really watching Sergio Perez win in Sakir for his first ever Formula One Grand Prix victory. Good guys, finish first.
Yes, Checo, P1. Yes!
I'm speechless, guys.
And after finally getting a move to a top team with Red Bull Racing in 2021, he soon added to his victory tally, making a name for himself as King of the Streets, as he notched up wins on some of F1's most challenging tracks in Singapore, Baku and Saudi Arabia, not to mention victory in Grand Prix's most prestigious event, Monaco.
It's Perez in the Principality. He wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
He's also proved he's no pushover when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing, earning himself another nickname for spirited defensive drives against Lewis Hamilton in Turkey and Abu Dhabi, which proved vital in helping his teammate Max Verstappen win his first driver's crown.
Okay, we'll be looking to hold up Lewis. I think it's best to do that.
Perez playing the ultimate team game here for Max Verstappen, and this is really frustrating Lewis Hamilton.
It didn't all go smoothly for Perez at Red Bull. He struggled in the second half of the 2024 season and left the team at the end of the year. But as plenty of other drivers have discovered, including Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, being Max Verstappen's teammate is perhaps the hardest job in Formula One. In total, Perez spent 4 years at Red Bull and helped them win 2 Constructors' Championships along the way. He knows exactly how a title-winning team operates, which means he knows where Cadillac need to be aiming in terms of people, processes, technology, and culture. And let's not forget that by signing Perez, Cadillac are tapping into one of the most passionate fan bases in F1. After a year out of racing, his home supporters are sure to give him a huge welcome when he arrives at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Cadillac colours.
And for the first time ever, we'll have a Mexican driver on the podium in his home race. Sergio Perez comes home to finish 3rd.
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy we won in my country. Thank you, guys. Now time for some tequila.
And they've been singing Ole, 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 Checo all day long in that part of the stadium. And now the Red Bull mechanics can celebrate and sing along too. These are great scenes.
But Cadillac weren't satisfied with having just one race winner in their team, as they have snapped up Valtteri Bottas to partner Perez next year. And just like Perez, Bottas too has a wide breadth of F1 experience that could be vital to helping his new team get up to speed. His first season in F1 was Williams in 2013, and it was a tough one. The FW35 wasn't a quick car, and the Finn spent most of his debut season in the bottom half of the field, picking up points just once. The 2014 Williams, however, was a vast improvement, and Bottas used it to great effect. He finished in the points at every race bar 2 and was a regular podium finisher, taking to the rostrum 6 times. 2 more impressive years with Williams cemented Bottas' reputation as one of the most exciting young drivers on the grid, and perhaps the next in an illustrious line of flying Finns. Toto Wolff was among his influential fans, and when Nico Rosberg won the World Championship in 2016 and then promptly retired from the sport just days later, Bottas was the man chosen to fill his seat at Mercedes. With a top car underneath him, it took the Finn just 4 races to earn his maiden victory. 2 more wins followed that year, and though some were questioning his speed after a winless 2018, he had the perfect response to his critics at the 2019 season opener.
It's Valtteri Bottas who wins the Australian Grand Prix!
Bottas ended up with a total of 10 Grand Prix victories from his time with Mercedes and helped the team win the Constructors' Championship in every single one of his 5 seasons with the Silver Arrows. But his initial spell with Cadillac may prove to be more like his most recent racing experience with Sauber. He moved across to the Swiss team in 2022, then racing as Alfa Romeo, and spent 3 seasons battling in the midfield and scrapping for points. So just like Perez, Bottas knows how to maximise a midfield car and grab precious points when they're on offer, but he also knows what it takes to win. And crucially for Cadillac, Bottas has been back at Mercedes this year as their reserve driver and has been piloting their top-of-the-line simulator to keep himself sharp ahead of his racing return next year. But Perez and Bottas were far from the only 2 drivers linked with this new team. Zhou Guanyu was thought to be in with a good chance of bagging a seat, as he is managed by Cadillac boss Graham Loudon. The Chinese racer has 3 full seasons of F1 experience under his belt thanks to a spell with Alfa Romeo Sauber, and this year he's been working as Ferrari's reserve driver. Not only does this mean that he's had first-hand insight into one of F1's top teams, but he's also been working with the Ferrari power unit, which Cadillac will be using next year. Former Haas driver Mick Schumacher was also understood to be lobbying Cadillac for a seat for 2026. The German has 2 years of Grand Prix racing experience to draw from and spent 2023 and 2024 embedded with Mercedes as their reserve driver. He's also race sharp, as he's currently competing for Alpine in the World Endurance Championship. There was also talk Cadillac would want an American driver to fly the flag for them in Formula 1. IndyCar star Colton Herta has been linked with an F1 switch since back in 2022, first with Alfa Romeo and then Alpha Tauri. He's also tested a McLaren, and with 9 IndyCar victories under his belt, certainly has the winning pedigree. As has his Andretti teammate Kyle Kirkwood, who has 3 IndyCar wins this season and a junior racing career that has already seen him pick up a hatful of championship titles. Jack Crawford was another name thought to be on Caddy's radar. The 20-year-old is making a name for himself in Formula 2 and is currently second in the championship with 3 wins so far this year. And what about Daniel Ricciardo? The 8-time Grand Prix winner would have been a hugely popular hire for a new team on the block. Few drivers have the fan following that the Australian does, and he would have brought bags of experience from his many years in the sport, racing for top teams like Red Bull and McLaren. But the Honey Badger last raced in F1 in Singapore back in 2024 and appears to be relishing his retirement, telling F1.com last month that he was enjoying life in the slow lane. But ultimately, Cadillac boss Graham Loudon has done his homework and opted for an experienced Formula 1 pair of Bottas and Perez for his driver lineup. But Loudon too will bring plenty of F1 know-how to the new General Motors backed outfit. When he brings Cadillac into F1 next year, it won't be the first time he's been a key player in a brand new team, having worked as sporting director for Virgin Racing when they joined the grid in 2010. He also has experience in endurance racing, having run Manor Motorsport's WEC program before he returned to the F1 paddock, where he played a central role in helping Zhou Guanyu become the first Chinese driver to race in F1. Respected across motorsport, Loudon knows how hard it is to start an F1 team from scratch and what it takes to compete in the toughest racing series in the world. With Cadillac's lineup now official, that leaves just a handful of seats on the F1 grid still to be confirmed for next year. McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Haas, Williams and Audi are all set to be unchanged, while Mercedes too are expected to confirm that George Russell and Kimi Antonelli will continue with their team for 2026. But Red Bull have yet to decide who will partner Max Verstappen, while Racing Bulls are also yet to say who will be driving their cars. And the second seat at Alpine alongside Pierre Gasly is also still up for grabs, with Franco Colapinto yet to score since he took the seat from Jack Doohan earlier this year. Drivers aside, it's all changed for Formula One in 2026. New regulations, new power units and all new cars. That means it could be a great time for a new team to join the fray, as all 10 existing teams are also taking a leap into the unknown. And Cadillac will be hoping that Perez and Bottas give them the best possible chance to hit the ground running when the lights go out in Melbourne to kickstart F1's new era.